everybody, it's Dan Latto, business coach, and I just wanted to have a chat about a coaching call I had yesterday, and a lot of information that came out was information that pretty much everybody can use. So I thought, let's make a video. So here we go. So marketing, that was the main discussion, and it was just about some of the things that this client, well, wasn't doing, actually. But let's crack on anyway, and we can identify where the gaps are for you and help you move your business forward. So the coaching call was yesterday, and this particular person was just struggling with getting new customers. And so we covered all different aspects of what they were actually implementing, and we looked at what was working, and then we also looked at what wasn't working and what was missing, and we identified where the gaps were. Once we were able to identify where those gaps were, we were able to plug them. So the first thing that came out was how many hits are you getting to your website? Well, I don't know. And it's like, what do you mean you don't know? How do you know if your marketing's working if you can't measure it? You have to measure all aspects of your marketing. If you send out a direct mail piece in a post and you don't know how many people are responding to it, well, how do you know if it's working? You've got to measure, and there's no excuse on a website. A website's really easy. You just go to Google Analytics, you bang a bit of code on a web page, and it will tell you where the lead came from, the keywords that were typed in, the type of browser, the country, how long they stayed on the website. It gives you all sorts of information, really useful information. So step one, start to implement some Google Analytics on your website. Step two was, once you've got some analytics and you're working out how people are finding you, you can then start to implement some search engine optimization. So what's your keywords? What are your top keywords in your business? Whatever that top keywords are or is, if you're coming up number one on page one of Google, great. If not, that's what you need to work on. It's really basic, you know. Work out what your keywords are and then find a strategy that will help you get there. If you need SEO on your website and you don't know how to do it, then give us a call. We'll recommend someone for you. We've got people who have tried and tested and they know what they're doing, and this stuff works, you know. We drove 35,000 unique visitors a month to our lettings agency website, which I sold a couple of years back. 35,000 unique visitors a month. Imagine that lot running through your shop every month. It's phenomenal. And there's methods and specific strategies that you can implement to get you there. But you've got to get your SEO sorted out. Okay, so the next bit was whenever you're creating new products, or even for existing products, each product has to have its own web page. So whatever that service is, so let's say you do Reiki and you're based in London. Well, there's probably different words for Reiki or different concepts of Reiki that you can implement. Or maybe it's not just London, maybe it's in St Albans. So maybe you want Reiki Master St Albans as your top keyword. You create a page just for that. Or maybe it's just Reiki London. You create a page for that. And then maybe you sell, as well as Reiki, you do hypnotherapy. So you want a page for hypnotherapy London. And then in hypnotherapy, maybe it's gastric band hypnotherapy in London. So you want a page called Gastric Band Hypnotherapy London, and you have a page that talks about just that. One of the ways of getting your search engine optimization working really, really well. Okay, next bit, backlinks. This is the second most important aspect on your website. So Google won't know about you unless you've got lots of people linking to you. It's pretty straightforward. There are good ways of doing it and bad ways of doing it, and we haven't got time to cover them in this very short video. But this is a really important aspect. You see, for that person who does Reiki, they probably think that reading a book on Reiki is the most important aspect of building their business, and it's not at all. You need to understand backlinks, you need to understand search engine optimization, and you need to understand Google Analytics. We don't live in 1990 anymore. We're in the 21st century, and the way of doing business is different, and this is absolutely the way forward. And if you don't know what you're doing, someone's going to take advantage of you. So, I speak to a lot of people, well, I'm not very technical and so on, and whilst that's fine, that's hurting your bottom line. Well, it's more than hurting some people's bottom line. They're not able to pay the bills. And more importantly, or probably not as important as that actually, but importantly, they're not able to grow the business to give them the lifestyle that they want, which is the whole purpose of going into that business in the first place. But they can't get enough customers. And it's this stuff that'll get you the customers. You could be the best Reiki master on the planet. It's not going to help if no one knows who you are. Okay, I do go on a little rant sometimes, by the way, just to warn you. Okay, so number 5, we spoke about getting some email software. And the reason we want some email software, a couple of reasons. The first bit is we want to create some web forms. We want to get a web form for data capture. Because, I don't know if you know this, but 80% of the visitors to your website will spend less than 7 seconds. So that means you've got 7 seconds to impress them. Sticking a web form on there and giving away some sort of lead magnet, that will help. But 80% of your visitors will leave in less than 7 seconds. And you know what? 93% will never come back. You've lost them. They're gone. So all that work you've done on search engine optimization and backlinks and so on, complete waste of time. Unless you can make your website sticky, which means that people are going to hang on your website, so maybe a video on your front page, for example, or unless you can capture their email address so that then you can begin to email them, keep them up to date with special offers, discounts, events, so on. Okay, so the next bit was to create what we call a hook or a lead magnet. So a lead magnet is like download this free guide on how to grow your business in the next 28 days. Or another one would be thinking about booking a Reiki master. Don't make this mistake. Download this free guide. That's a good way of getting people's email addresses because people are interested in that stuff, and it gives you an opportunity to keep emailing these people for discounts and so on. Yeah, so get your email address, covered that. So the next bit was, that was all the online stuff, and that was pretty basic stuff, right? If you've got a website and none of that is on it, then you're failing. I guarantee it. You've got to get that stuff on your website. There's no question. Okay, so then we talked about an offline strategy, because I'll tell you what, the number of people I speak to who are trying to run a business, what they do is they sit there in front of a computer, and I've done it myself in the past, you know. I sit there in front of a computer and go, right, I've got to find some customers. What shall I do? Gumtree. Yeah, we'll do Gumtree. Right, I've done Gumtree. What next? And I sit there in front of a computer. Not a clue. And whilst we don't live in the 1990s, and we live in this modern age full of computers and internet and so on, the stuff that worked in the 1990s all still works now. So using things like postcards. Postcards can be really cheap. You know, we send our postcards out for 32 pence each, including the price of a postcard and the stamp. And we get returns from those. How about a leaflet drop? How about some direct mail? Again, it's all about testing what works and what doesn't. But you've got to look at implementing some sort of offline strategy. I've got some clients, and they do what's called the Quality Street strategy. What they do is they go into the handymen, so they go into letting agents with a box of Quality Street, with their branding attached to the side of the Quality Street. Just A4 sheet of paper cut out, stuck around the outside, and they go in and leave the box of Quality Street there, and just wonder. They say, we're just wondering, have you got any business for handyman work? And invariably they'll get let down at some point. That Quality Street box will last a week, 2 weeks. So as people are dipping in to the suites and interacting with that brand, when the next time a handyman does let them down, guess who they're going to call? They're going to call the handyman who give them a Quality Street. Then they pop in 2 weeks later and ask how the Quality Street's going down. And some people won't even know who they are because they just won't put it together. And then they go, oh, you're the guys who brought the Quality Street in. The very next time we need a handyman, guess who we're going to call? That stuff works, but it's an offline strategy. And it's about thinking outside of a box. Okay, quick fix back online is Google pay-per-click. Now this is the key here. We only ever use Google pay-per-click until our search engine optimization kicks in. That's it. So it's like, if you've read Rich Dad Poor Dad, it's like the story of the pipeline, the water pipeline, where there's a village there's 2 villages near a big lake. And one guy in one village says, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start filling buckets of water and start supplying my village with water. So he goes and gets his buckets of water, and he runs off to the lake, and he fills them up, and he comes back. And he does that trip 15 times a day. And he has to do that trip 15 times a day for the rest of his life. That is Google pay-per-click. The other guy thinks, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to spend a little bit of time just building a pipeline from this lake to my own village. So he spends a little bit of time, well, quite a bit of time actually, working on the foundations for this pipeline. It takes a little bit of time. And then a couple of weeks later it's finished, and he turns the tap on. And this flow of water, and that's it, he puts his feet up. That is search engine optimization. But Google pay-per-click can give you a quick fix, drive some instant traffic. But you've got to get the other stuff in place first, like your lead capture, your web forms and so on. Okay, the third most important aspect of your website is content, and the reason why this is the third is that there's no point in sending someone to a website when it's got no content, first of all, but there's no point on having a great content website if no one's going to visit it. So start driving traffic. Honestly, what will happen is you start driving traffic to a website that's got very little content on it. Trust me on this, you will get content on there. You'll start writing like crazy because it's embarrassing not having content, and it's a great way of doing it. Okay, so I just said that. Excellent. Okay, so hopefully that was really useful for you. I do business coaching every day of my life, and I love it. And it's unique because I get to see everything from the outside. So if you're the goldfish in your little goldfish bowl, and all you can see is your own reflection as you're staring out of a goldfish bowl. Whereas, because I'm on the outside and I see hundreds of goldfish bowls every single year, I can go, oh, you're not doing this, you're not doing that. What about this? What about that? And it's very difficult for a person in the goldfish bowl because obviously it's their own reflection. They don't know what they don't know. Whereas because I'm on the outside, it's fairly easy for me to see it. And that's the use of a business coach. That's the advantage of using one. So if you're getting stuck in business and you need help, then jump online to my website, come and have a chat. My name's Dan Latter. I hope this video has been really useful for you. I've ran through it really quickly, and we'll speak really soon. Thank you very much. Bye bye.